Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today we are painting the engine bay and prepping the cage around the windshield to paint it flat black. We're 37 days away from the race, and this is what it's looking like right now. So we got a lot of work to do. Follow, like, subscribe. You know what to do. Funny story, whenever I was at Ace Hardware and buying all this paint, there was a guy in there. He's like, "What are you doing, buying all that for a rally?" Talking about all the protests and rally. And I actually said, yeah. I probably should have told him that it was for a rally car. They're probably gonna think I'm painting the streets up. Went ahead and taped off the majority of this front end of the car. Anything that could get paint on it or anything like that, I kind of covered up real quick. Just some tape and some paper.
Here I'm using some gray scuffing pads. They're fine from Napa Auto Parts. Just scuffing the area so the paint will stick better. Then I sprayed down some Windex and cleaned it up just to get rid of all the dust. Not trying to make it perfect looking, just trying to clean it up a little bit. Then here I'm painting the car using some Ace Hardware cheap brand paint just to cover the area up. Not trying to be perfect, just trying to cover the area.
It's the next day. I thought I'd give the cheap Ace brand paint a try, and I'm not a fan. The spots where a little rust was showing and I painted over anyways, it's immediately coming right back. I didn't want to give up on Ace just yet, so I ended up going with a little higher end stop rust. Supposedly it's just like Rust-Oleum. According to this, prevents rust and corrosion direct to metal. No primer needed, dries in 30 minutes or less. Give this a try. Let's get to it. Wow, that looks 100 times better. It's even a lot shinier. That other stuff was, it turned dull and everything. It could have been because of the humidity at that yesterday, but today it's not quite as humid, so this paint just is a lot shinier. I think it's really going to be a better paint than that other stuff. So I guess you get what you pay for. This is a little more expensive, but I think it's definitely worth it.
I'm using that fine gray scuffing pad again just to get rid of the surface rust. And then I use some Windex, spray it down, clean it up, get rid of all the dust, get ready for some paint.
This is what I'll be using. This rust treatment, I found it at Napa.
What this does is changes the rust to a black primer.
Alright, so I put 3 coats on, that's what it recommended, and I put about 2 minutes between each coat. Then it says wait 24 hours before putting paint down. So, we will be back tomorrow. We'll throw some paint, that flat black paint on it, see what it looks like, see how it turns out, and then we'll continue to paint the rest of the interior and the cage. Stay tuned. Found some of this Rust-Oleum clean metal primer. Says spray right on bare metal, painted or lightly rusted material. The roll cage is lightly rusted. I tried to put that protective stuff on it. We'll see how well that works. I'm going to go ahead and try this, primer it with that, and then I'm actually going to use stop rust paint on it as well. So let's see what happens. Man, that does not spray very good. Very splattery. All right, we're gonna let that dry for about 15 minutes, and I'm gonna lightly sign there's some runs. This thing was spraying really crazy, just everywhere. It's not a very clean spray. I don't know if I tried to change the tips. I don't know if I got the defective cap or what, or nozzle, but it didn't make a difference, and it just sprays everywhere. I wasn't even trying to paint this up here, and it just goes all over the place. So be careful if you're ever using that. I don't know what it's going. So it's finally dry to the touch. I did get some runs just because of how badly that was spraying out. So I'm just gonna sand it down with that scratch pad before I put the paint on. Got my flat black paint, and we're just gonna paint this area around where I can see, just to prevent from glares and everything.
This is the same stop rust paint that I use for the engine bay, except it's flat black instead of shiny black. This flat black paint turned out really good. I'm impressed how well it looks, and this is mainly just to prevent glare from shining on my face when I'm going down the stage roads. It should do the trick.
Some of the stuff that we do is not the best, but it's gonna get it by until someday we can actually clean it up. I don't want to put a whole lot of money into paint because, let's be honest, this is rally. It's not a matter of if you wreck, it's when you wreck. So for that matter, in my case, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time and money on something that could possibly get ruined anyways. So cheaper the better, in my opinion. Let's be honest, most likely this car won't be the last one